This AI playback is powered by Crone.
Have you ever wondered why retirement feels so heavy for people, even when they have plenty of money and zero obligations?
Lachlan Brown suggests it's because for 40 years, our jobs have been doing the heavy lifting of telling us who we are. When you hand in your key card, you aren't just losing a salary, you're losing the autobiography work wrote for you.
Right, like you go from being the head of marketing or a senior accountant to just a, a person in a kitchen with a coffee mug. That transition sounds incredibly jarring.
It really is. Lu Pingchen from the University of Ulsan points out that retirement can actually strip away your sense of self-worth because your social recognition just vanishes overnight.
I guess work provides a sort of borrowed purpose. You don't have to wake up and invent a reason to exist because the company already gave you a deadline and a meeting schedule.
Exactly. Psychologist Mark Travers calls it a fall from grace. He's seen retirees frantically reorganize their entire house or start 5 hobbies in a week just to avoid that empty Tuesday morning silence.
So is the goal just to find a new hobby? Or is it deeper than that?
It's about picking up the pen yourself. The most successful retirees stop trying to just fill time and start looking for ways to contribute to a cause or build a community that doesn't require a paycheck to feel real.
It turns out the quiet morning isn't a void. It's just the first time in decades you've been alone enough to actually meet yourself.
This AI playback is powered by Crone.
Have you ever wondered why someone could live on the same street for 37 years and still feel like they just checked into a hotel last month?
Justin Brown actually explores this through a man named Marvin, who's 74. He lives in a Sunbelt suburb where he waves to neighbors, but doesn't even know the names of the family living across the street.
It sounds like a choice, right? Like he just didn't try to be social?
Well, Brown argues it's actually structural. Boomers were told to move for work, taking promotions to Cincinnati, Dallas, and Phoenix, which treated community as expendable.
So the very thing that made them successful in their careers is what's hurting them now. It's like those attached two-car garages Robert Putnam talks about.
Exactly. You enter and exit without ever making eye contact. The cul-de-sac model was built for a 42-year-old commuter, not a 74-year-old who doesn't drive at night.
And when you stop driving, that independence just turns into a 4-bedroom prison where you only hear the HVAC system.
Right. And it's not just a sad feeling. The National Academies found that this kind of isolation leads to cardiovascular issues and cognitive decline. The body reads the silence as a physical threat.
It's a steep price to pay for what we used to call upward mobility. It's the ultimate dinner table argument. Did the boomers have it on easy mode, or are millennials just facing a whole different beast?
BuzzFeed and Jake Farrington really dug into this lately, and honestly, the Reddit threads are on fire. It's fascinating because everyone's pointing at these massive economic shifts, like how a single income used to buy a house with a yard.
Right, people are looking at the math, and it's jarring. Back in the day, you had people buying homes for what feels like pocket change compared to the insane ratios we see now.
Yeah, though some boomers are quick to point out the 80s. I mean, they had mortgage rates hitting 21%, which is just wild to imagine today.
True, but then you look at everything else, like medicine. Before the mid-90s, if you had a stroke, the options were basically non-existent. You were just wheeled to the back of the room.
Exactly. And socially, things were pretty rough for women and minorities. Equality was something you had to fight for every single day in the office.
Now we have the world in our pockets, but that brings its own set of problems. The constant urgency, answering emails at midnight because you can't really ever disconnect.
It's like we're more efficient than ever, but not getting the payout for it. At the end of the day, every generation just seems to inherit a different set of hurdles.
It really comes down to which set of challenges you'd rather carry.
This AI playback is powered by Crone.
Have you ever seen that thing where a retired guy just trails his wife from room to room, even into the laundry room?
Justin Brown has written about this, and he says it's not actually clinginess. It's a total identity collapse after leaving a career that provided 40 years of structure.
So he's basically lost his home country. Like, the office was where everyone knew his name and he had a clear purpose.
Exactly. On Friday, they give him a sheet cake, and by Monday, his entire relational world is gone. He's left with one account, his wife, while she has a whole portfolio of book clubs and walking buddies.
Right, because men in that generation were taught friendship happens incidentally, like over a carburetor or at a union meeting.
Yeah. Once the job stops, the contact stops too. He hasn't learned how to call a friend just to talk, so he stands in the doorway watching her fold towels just to feel connected to something.
That sounds exhausting for her. She's basically becoming the entire civic infrastructure for another adult.
It is. She's carrying the conversation and the meaning for both of them now. A realization for him that the company didn't love him back, but she is the only landmark he has left.
It's a heavy shift for someone who never had to be a person without a title.
This AI playback is powered by Crone.
Why is the generation that basically grew up with a smartphone in their hand suddenly leading a revolt against artificial intelligence?
It is quite a shift. Victor Tangerman has been tracking this, and it seems Gen Z is feeling particularly burned by a tech that feels designed to replace their own agency. Only 18% of them say they feel hopeful about AI now, which is a big drop from just last year.
I saw a scathing editorial from the University of Pennsylvania student paper. They basically said AI and education can't coexist because it just degrades the whole experience of human thought.
Right, and it goes beyond the classroom. They're worried about cognitive offloading, where we just outsource our mental tasks to a machine. It's leading to some really dangerous spirals of delusion and a total erosion of critical thinking.
Okay, but the workplace stuff is what really caught my eye. Are they actually sabotaging their own companies?
Yeah, about 44% of Gen Z workers admitted to it. They're doing things like feeding proprietary company info into chatbots, or just flat out refusing to use the tools their bosses mandate.
It sounds like they're looking at the bigger picture too, like how those massive data centers are wrecking the environment.
Exactly. They see the environmental cost and the social slop in their feeds, and they've just had enough. It's a full-on rebellion against the tech industry's push for total adoption.
It's a massive reality check for the tech giants thinking the youth will just follow along.
This AI playback is powered by Crone.
Ever get back from a neighborhood barbecue or just a quick chat at the grocery store and feel totally wiped out?
That's exactly what the Vega editorial team looked into. It's not necessarily about being an introvert, but about the cost of surface acting.
Surface acting? That sounds like something you do on a movie set.
Actually, sociologist Arlie Russell Hushchild used that term to describe flight attendants who have to smile through turbulence. It's when you perform an interest you don't really feel just to meet a social expectation.
Okay, so like nodding along to a story about someone's kitchen renovation when you're actually bored to tears.
Precisely. The Yonsei Medical Journal noted that this gap between what you feel and what you show causes internal friction. It's literally exhausting because your brain sees it as nutritionally empty.
So it's not that I'm bad at talking, it's just that I'm bored.
Right. Psychologist Matthias Mell found that the happiest people in his study had twice as many substantive conversations as the least happy ones. They didn't talk more, they just talked deeper.
I guess we should stop telling people to just practice more small talk. It sounds like they just need to find people who want to talk about real stuff.
It's a compatibility issue, not a skill deficit. If you're drained, try steering the chat towards something you actually care about.
Good point. I'll remember that next time I'm trapped in a conversation about the weather.
This AI playback is powered by Crone.
Ever wonder why that one person in the meeting still uses a physical notebook while everyone else is on their laptop?
Well, the VEGAT team recently highlighted some research by authors like Laura Deutsch suggesting it's not about being old-fashioned. It's actually a cognitive process that lets the mind hear itself.
So it's more than just a personal preference. Is there something happening in the brain when we pick up the pen?
Scientific American points out that engaging your fine motor system creates what's called embodied cognition. Your brain has to coordinate movement, visual feedback, and language all at once, which makes it a multisensory experience.
Okay, so typing is just too easy. Like we're just hitting keys without really processing the words.
Right. Typing can be almost passive since every letter feels the same. Handwriting is slower, which acts as a filter, helping weaker thoughts fall away while the strong ones take shape.
I guess a paper page doesn't have 10 browser tabs and constant notifications fighting for your attention.
Exactly. A blank page offers radical constraint. There are no hyperlinks or autocorrect features to second guess you, just you and your thoughts.
It sounds like we don't need to ditch our computers, but maybe just pick up a pen for the deep stuff.
Exactly. It's about using the right tool for the job. Our brains sometimes work best at the speed of a pen moving across paper.
I'll keep that in mind the next time I see someone with ink-stained fingers.
AI Playback is powered by Chrome.
Have you ever just completely blank out in a high-stakes meeting, like your brain turned into a loading screen?
Oh, that's exactly what Lachlan Brown describes as being cooked. He argues that the people who thrive under pressure aren't actually tougher, they just have better systems for knowing when to stop.
Okay, so it isn't about being Rocky in a training montage, but how do they actually know where that limit is before they hit the wall?
They use early warning systems. Like, for Brown, it's meditation. If he's rushing through his morning breathing, he knows he's overcommitted and needs to reassess.
Right, so they're tracking their own patterns. I guess it's like how elite athletes don't just sprint at max speed every single day.
Exactly. They monitor heart rate and sleep quality. High performance is about strategic recovery. You have to schedule rest proactively, like a meeting, instead of waiting until you're exhausted.
It sounds like you have to be really disciplined about saying no to things, too. Even good opportunities?
Definitely. And when you do crash, you should do a pressure audit. Look at the specific warning signs you ignored so you can refine your system for the next time.
So real resilience is basically just the wisdom to pull back. I love that.
This AI Playback is powered by Chrome.
Have you ever